Hi everyone, Vickieverlie here, Rock and Roll Prophetess. Thanks for joining me for a look at the full moon in Leo. This is occurring on January 28th, 2021 at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time, but times will vary. So let's zoom in and take a little closer look at this chart. I did look at it a minute ago when I was opening it, and I do right away what catches me. Well, obviously there's so much energy in Aquarius, first of all. But also there's a T-square with this Mars-Uranus thing. The other day when I did that, the last video, I did it on the morning of that riot in D.C., not even realizing. And I had to edit it together, I kept messing up, and there was all this tension and energy, and I kept referring back to the Mars-Uranus. And here I think I was definitely picking up on what was about to occur in Washington, D.C. that morning. And then I was off and running, and I was at the lake channeling, and I didn't even have I didn't know what happened until much later in the day. I was completely unplugged from all media for the rest of the day. And then I found out what happened. I'm like, holy cripe. That's what, holy cripes, that's what my mom used to say. That's what, that was pretty intense. And again, this is the thing that draws me in again. I mean, what day is this? Am I recording this on the 21st? The day after the U.S. inauguration, so hopefully everything's cool this time. It's not going to be like last time. But this energy still is drawing me in, this Mars-Uranus, and it's actually in almost a perfect T-square with the full moon in Leo at 9 degrees, opposed to Sun and 9 degrees, and then, square the Mars at 10 degrees. I mean, and it's right in there. So it would seem that maybe the potential for the tension persists. But we can't overlook all the stuff in Aquarius here. And we have Jupiter conjunct the Sun. And the Sun is the ruler of Leo, if you're not familiar. So the Sun is, intricately involved in this chart. It has a strong emphasis, a strong expression, because even though it's a full moon is a lunar event, it's opposing the Sun in Leo, and it's a Leo lunar event. Without getting too complex with the astrology here. At any rate, this is definitely like the way out, the way to go, where the positive energy lies, where it's the ruler of Leo, the Sun, is where it will shine, and that's through the Aquarian energy. And the Aquarian energy is always taking that higher road. It's the higher mind. It's getting out of the monkey mind. It's doing what's best for all. It's humanity. The brotherhood of man, if you want to say that. It's moving forward. It's progress. It's the next thing. It's not being stuck in the past and wanting to make war. It's ascending to the next level of evolution. Really, it's not even. It's pretty intense and pretty widespread and pretty. It's deep, but it's not deep. It's light. It's very much light energy, and it's light, and the Sun emits light. And when I want to say it's deep or it's heavy, those are not incorrect terms. Those would not apply to this Aquarian energy. It's transcending. It's science. It's breakthroughs in science. It's advancement. One bold step for mankind. My smudge went out here. I just want to get my little smudge lit again. Get that going. Yeah, so that is one of the main prevailing energies, and also maybe the direction that we would want to aspire toward, with this. With this, it could be very passionate. There's a lot of passion coming off of this chart, because that's also another thing when there's a heavy emphasis on Mars. And by the way, the Aquarian energy that I speak of, the ruler of Aquarius is Uranus. And Uranus is conjuncting that Mars energy. So again, there's that best possible expression of the energy. Mars could be expressed through pushing, initiating, because that's what Mars does. It pushes, it initiates the Uranian energy. But it's more likely the earthy stuff, because it's in Taurus here. It feels more like pushing my agenda. That's what it feels like. Well, there's a negative and positive. There's so much passion here because Leo is a passionate sign. Absolutely. We've got the Uranus-Mars there, so that's igniting a lot of passion. And then we also have Venus conjunct Pluto. So that could be very passionate too. These are both... This can be an obsessive love affair. Venus-Pluto could be somebody who's very obsessed. It could be something that you're very obsessed about. With Venus, it's a love affair. It could be somebody who doesn't want to let go, who is, I don't want to use the word stalker, that's a little harsh, but I mean, it's not far from that. It can be, and it's a negative expression. Venus-Pluto also, though, it's tied to money, and Pluto is big money. And I was just talking about this the other day in somebody's reading because they're having a Pluto transit their natal Venus, or something. There was some big aspect like that, or it might have been Jupiter. And I think it was Jupiter, because I was saying I probably will never live to see it, and I probably will never live to see Pluto, go over my Jupiter, because I have Jupiter in Pisces. I mean, maybe. But at any rate, I remember reading a study years ago about people who go from rags to riches. And it would always be either a Pluto Venus heavy transit, or it would be a Pluto Jupiter transit. And they gave examples of lottery winners, but they also gave examples of like people who rose to fame. So they may have been like waiting tables at some point, or working some kind of odd job while they were waiting for their big break to happen. And then this was where the big break happened. Excuse me, let me get a drink of water. And when I come through with this big break energy, this stands out to me big time. So we can have a big break with something. I guess it could be different for everybody. But with the Aquarian energy, we are looking at the collective. So we're having a big break with, Venus and Taurus. Venus rules over Taurus. And both of these could very well tie into some kind of big financial things. Some kind of break with financial things that it feels more like it's, corporate or restrictive. And that's part of the Capricorn energy. And the Sun is in here. Saturn's in here too in the mix. It's also opposing, in this full moon energy. So it's a big break with structures, which have been coming. It's been coming for so long. Everybody was jumping on the bandwagon. Well, Pluto goes through Capricorn, there goes the patriarchy and big business and everything. And there has been transformative things happening there. But for me, it feels like it's almost been amplified. I don't know if that's just because of the last year that Jupiter was in there, amplifying that energy, amplifying that greed, grabbing it all for myself. I'm hearing that. I'm seeing the guy, tweaking his mustache, twirling his mustache. Is that Snidely Whiplash or somebody? Give me all the money. That's kind of what I'm being shown from the guides, yeah. So there was a lot of that greed and lust for power. Power above everything else, power above the humanity, collective, the good of all. So, people are passionate. There could be more of this coming forward, but hopefully this is going to be the more prevailing energy, the stronger presence through all the Aquarian stuff all lined up here. Now Saturn is there too. I'm having my Saturn return. Every time I look at these charts, my Saturn return comes closer and closer. This day, actually, Jupiter will be on my Saturn and the Sun, exactly. So I'm hoping, for me personally, I'm hoping for good things to come out of it. I looked back on my other Jupiter transits over, and in my case, it happens to be on the IC also. So I looked back at some of my old transits, and good things did happen every time. I ended up moving the one time, but that was in '97, and that was when I bought this house that I'm still living in today. But at that time, Uranus was traveling with Jupiter, so it was really powerful, even more powerful that year. This year Saturn's traveling with it. So, but there's still like this extra boost of energy happening. Excuse me. Now this smudge is getting to be a little too much. I wanted to light it, now it's coming in my face here. What was I talking about? Yeah, so hopefully it's going to be good things, and with the Saturn it's going to be long-term things, foundations put in place that are going to be very long-lasting. You know, as always, it's a Saturn transit, a full Saturn transit lasts 28 to 30 years, usually, you know, rounded out to about 29 years. And, you know, it's a very powerful time. It was in the early 90s the last time that we had Saturn going through here. If anybody wants to look that up or think about it, you know, as far as world events goes, what was put into place at those times. I'm not sure if that's when the Berlin Wall came down during that time frame. That's what's coming. Those are my giant icicles that are falling off of my house, those big booms, if you're hearing them. Oh. But anyways, yeah, it's funny because today the sun is out, and I live in a very area where it's very cloudy and snowy and cold, and you know, and I'm going to go do the Leo moon thing here, and it turns out that it's, you know, it's a sunny day for the first time in a long time here. I woke up this morning and I'm going, what, there's such, my house looks weird. What's this weird light? What's this weird energy in here? And I'm like, oh, it's the sun. It's just that the sun is out, that's all. Alright, so yeah, it's passionate. It could be very unpredictable again with the Uranus stuff, but also, you know, it's can be very enlightening. It can be very enlightening. The Chiron is over here, and it's squaring the part of fortune. That's catching my eye next here. And we've been dealing with the Chiron and Aries for a long time. We want to take action about our wounds. And the Leo can help with that too, the Leo energy. Leo, every sign has a positive and negative expression, okay? And the Leo energy, in positive, it's boosting self-confidence and self-love. I don't think anybody is better at self-love than a Leo, you know? And that's a big thing that's been emerging lately. We need to, you know, love ourselves first before we can go out and help humanity at large. So there's that aspect of it, and the Chiron in Aries is again bringing it back to ourselves. We want to heal ourselves. So, you know, in a positive way, we could, the full moon makes us aware, so we could be aware of ways that maybe we haven't been self-loving and that we need to do some more of that, you know, ways that we could be more self-loving towards ourselves. Practicing self-love. But also the downside of the Leo, it can be, you know, very egomaniac. I'm the king, it's good to be king, you know, needing a lot of attention, needing a lot of accolades. And, you know, if you're around a negative Leo, it can be very exhausting, you know, trying to constantly boost them up. They need a lot of boosting up. Now, that's not all Leos, you know, but that's the negative part of it. You know, you must, you know, I think of like King Henry VIII or somebody like that, you know. Off with their heads. So there's also that energy too of healing that ego. I find when I'm too focused on myself, the best thing to do is just do, you know, go do something for somebody else. You know, do the readings. Or a real quick, easy way is, I've done this, you know, before. It's like I set my intention. I'm going to go on social media, and I'm going to do my best to say something positive to as many people as I possibly can. You know, give them a little boost. Say something really positive about their post. Which I feel like a lot of people will put social media as the 9th house of the internet, but I feel there's a very strong correlation between 11th house. Aquarius 11th house energy as far as really reaching out to social media. Because 11th house is your groups that you belong to, your social groups and other groups. But anyways, if you feel yourself having a pity party for yourself or feeling caught up in anger or resentment, the best way is to look outward and just try to give somebody else a little boost. Take the attention off of yourself for a minute. Take the attention off of yourself. Yes, we need to practice self-care and self-love. You know, there's a lot of value in that. But sometimes we need to just take the attention off of ourselves. Or, you know, you look at somebody who's less fortunate than you. Or go do some kind of charity work, you know, soup kitchens or whatever. Although I don't know what's the status of any of that with COVID, but you can just go on social media and say something nice about somebody, or share somebody's post and give them a little boost and say something nice and make somebody else feel better. I'm hearing that song, Make Someone Happy, make just someone, or just one someone happy. I can't think of the rest of the lyrics, but I can hear the song in my head. And when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. That's another song that's coming through. I need a drink. I'm sorry. I don't know if you can see my reflection. See, it's so sunny, you can see the reflection. You can see the reflection of my glass in the... is the glass half empty or is it half full? You could see the reflection because it's so sunny today. It's a rare occurrence indeed to have a sunny day around here in the winter. Okay, so, yeah, makes just someone happy. Think of the other person with all this heavy emphasis on the Aquarian energy. Think about what you can do that's not self-serving but self for everybody. And just maybe even doing, it could go as far as, you know, recycling programs, or, you know, maybe getting involved in some kind of thing, even if it's online, or donating to some sort of charity, or, you know, and if you can't donate money, maybe you can donate time, resources. You know, if you're an app developer, maybe you could do, or a web designer, you could do some free web work for somebody, or make them a free logo, or, you know, it doesn't have to be in person rolling up your sleeves, but that's always good too. But there's a big emphasis on this with the Jupiter here. It's like what we can do for our fellow mankind, what we can do so that everyone shines. Everybody's going to shine, shine, shine. Keep it shining on. Yeah, because the full moon in Leo, we want everybody to shine. And with all this Aquarian energy, how can everybody shine? It is a good time for organizing and starting groups, finding groups of like-minded people, you know, getting involved with people who are on the same page as you. Instead of fighting against what you don't want, what can you do toward what you do want and to lift people up? We can see everything. I hope the camera's picking this up. I'm not trying to get sidetracked, but that's my reflection of my hand there. Look at that. Here's the real hand. Okay, I know I'm getting a little off track, but I don't remember ever seeing that. And I sit in the same spot to do these readings every time, but anyways. Yeah, and, you know, putting that as an esoteric, maybe, message from the guides here, because really 7th house is the other, but there is an aspect of like a non-dual thing here. What we see in ourselves, we see in others. We see the reflection. I'm seeing my reflection of my hand in the screen here. The world at large, that's the 11th house, you know, the world at large, that is, you know, a reflection of our own input, our own consciousness, our own, you know, our own part of it, our own contribution. What are we contributing? If you don't like what you see, why don't you change it? You know, let's raise a little hell. But I'm getting a lot of music today. I always get a lot of music, but I'm getting even a lot more music. I'm hearing that song, Raise a Little Hell. If you don't like what you see, then why don't you change it? If your world is all screwed up, then rearrange it. Yeah. That's what this could be about for sure. The other positive side of Leo, another positive trait of Leo, is very much magnanimous. Leos can make you feel like you're the most special person in the whole world. You know, when the Leo energy is shining its light on you, you just feel that sun shining on you, you know. Leos need a lot of love and attention, but they give a lot of love and attention in return, you know. They're very magnanimous and fun to be around and lighthearted. While Leos have a lot of pride, while the Leo energy is very prideful, they're not really one to hold grudges. Not really. Leos get over it, and then tomorrow's another day, and we're friends again. You know, because you know, fifth house rules fun and play, and it reminds me of, like, you know, it's childlike energy. You know, kids might get into a spat, you know, and I'm taking my ball home, and you know, where I'm mad at you, and then the next day they're all outside playing together again. So that's another thing about the Leo energy. You know, through love and fifth house is also entertainment. You know, through entertainment and fun activities and laughter. Leo rules laughter. I don't know if it does, but it does to me. I always think of Leos as laughter. I've mentioned this before. The Leos have the best laughs ever. You know, so many Leos. I hear somebody who has this great laugh. It's so totally contagious. I'm like, I bet you're a Leo, aren't you? And they're like, yeah, how'd you know? And it's always, that's the telltale sign. They have these great contagious laughter. So through laughter and fun and games, that is how we can become united. That is how we can all play together in this big soup of life, this big soup of earthly, incarnational incarnations that we're all involved in, I guess. I'm looking here, we have the Neptune conjunct the Ceres at like 20-something degrees, well 20-ish degrees. And that's sextiling this Venus-Pluto thing over here. And it's also squaring the nodes again. We've got the nodes at 18 degrees now. So there's this Neptune node thing that's been going on for a little bit, and I'm sure that I've discussed it already. But with Ceres joining, there's something there. There's a different energy here. The Ceres energy is about food and abundance, and I think of Ceres as very much like a nurturing planet, you know. It's because it rules over food and providing for. So Neptune, we could dream up new ideas. We could dream up new ideas of how we could nurture, again, not only ourselves, but others as well. How can we nurture Neptune? We could come in tune with spirit and get downloads, and we can get downloads that are for the highest good, because it's connection with the. We actually have a big T square here with Vesta also, of pure intention of healing, connected with the nodes, which is our, you know, our destiny in life, where we want to strive to be, where we're headed, and then also the karma of the past, what our lessons that we've learned in the past, incorporated all into Neptune, using Neptune in the highest vibration. Neptune is dreaming that impossible dream. Neptune is the highest spiritual planet in the... Wow, those ice cubes are some heavy ice. Do you hear that? It's crashing out there? Those icicles. Neptune is the highest spiritual expression, the highest spiritual connection that we have within our little solar system here. You know, Neptune is the bridge to the next, as is Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius. These are both bridges to higher dimensional connections and higher dimensional communications. So through there we're getting these downloads about, some of us, if that's too far out there for you, if that's too woo-woo, you could just take it as, well, maybe I'm going to get some insights into my diet and habits and eating better and stuff like that. I think I mentioned that last time about really listening to your body. And you know, it can be like, if you're craving something sweet, maybe you want to just have some fruit. You know, maybe you're really craving fruit and not some kind of you know, desserts. I've never been a sweets person myself, but you know, people want sweets all the time. Maybe you're really just craving, your body's craving some fruit, because your body talks to you and listens to you. And how do we nurture our body? Not only through food, but through our spiritual practices, or our spiritual continuity is the word that's coming through, but our spiritual connections. You know, so like I'm definitely guilty of this. So many times we get up and I've got my long list. We just drive our body to exhaustion. You know, it's our body is like our work, our oxen tied to the yoke. You know, we just use it to, and we don't take time to really feel into our body and really get proper rest with Neptune. We need dream time. We need rest. We need connection to spirit. We need peace. We need rest and peace time to clear out a lot of this this energy of the tension that can be built, you know, through the Mars Uranus stuff that's going on here. That's a hair point trigger. Is that the word? Yeah, that's a hair. People can just go off and flip out in a minute there, you know, with that energy. So it's definitely something that we want to be aware of, be conscious of, try to balance out, counterbalance it. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Counterbalance. It's all about counterbalance. The moon opposed the sun. That's a counterbalance. The north node versus the south node. You know, that's a counterbalance. Every opposition in the entire wheel is a counterbalance, you know. It's Aries is me and me, myself, and I. The opposite is the 7th house of Libra, and that is my partnership, the other. So it's every single thing are different aspects and different components of the same general theme or general area of focus. So on a full moon, there's always going to be that. There's always going to be that counterbalance going on there. There's always going to be that. All right, you know, this sun is getting so bright. Where I'm from, my angle, I can't even see the image on the screen anymore. It's just completely. And this hand thing is freaking me out. It's just time we got to wrap this up. All right, everybody. So thanks so much for tuning in and watching these videos. If you want to find out about anything I'm offering, readings or whatever, you can visit my site. The Rock and Roll Tarot Deck version 2 is out. A few different things, including a new box. And what I did do too is make a listing for just the box. So if you own the deck already, but you just don't want that box is, you know, too cheap for you, you can just order the new box, which is, you know, it's the same size, so it'll all work. But yeah, it's a full moon in Leo. But there's the Aquarian energy comes through is like the stronger thing. I mean, we've got all these placements in Aquarius. So think about how we can, our contribution to humanity, how we can rise up, how we can raise humanity upward. That would be the best use, in my humble opinion, of this energy that we find ourselves in at this time. Yes, will there be tension and opposition, or possibly last grabs for power? Potentially. Obsession, you know, both of these can be very much obsessive, but we can counterbalance it. We can take it higher. I want to take you higher. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, you are love and beauty incarnate. What was I going to say? Louvre and beauty incarnate? Or the Louvre in Paris. Sometimes when I say these wrong things, there's relevance. That's why I kind of, you know, backtrack and say them again. So, I don't know, but maybe it was just a slip of the tongue. But remember that you are love and beauty incarnate, and that's definitely the Aquarian and the Neptune message, you know, part of it. Have a great full moon in Leo, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.